We did a video this week about a product that I think is really, really important. Um, it's made by a company called Framework. So their website is frame.work. And it's a laptop that takes a far more open approach than what we've seen from the rest of the industry. So all the parts internally have these very clear labels, QR codes even, that will take you to information about how to upgrade them or replace them. Things like the battery that have been deemed, you know, not worth replacing, and other manufacturers will just glue their devices shut, so you just have to throw the whole thing away when the battery dies. They've gone out of their way to use standardized components, so that will not in fact happen to your laptop. Even the screen, the bezel comes off magnetically, and you can replace the screen with something else in the future. It's just a really, really different approach. Oh, look at this. They've already got my quote on their site. The team over at Framework has managed to not just create a laptop that is easily repairable and upgradable, but it's also a thin, gorgeous, performant laptop. Linus Tech Tips. That's hilarious. They really didn't waste time with that. In the video, I talked about putting my money where my mouth is to support an initiative that I have been saying is important for as long as I've been making YouTube videos. Things being easier to repair, things not just being dead end devices that have no upgrade path whatsoever. They even go as far as to provide the schematics for the main board to repair shops in the event that they need to repair them. Like, these guys are taking a way more open approach. It's something I respect a lot. And I said in the video that I wanted to put my money where my mouth is. And that was in two ways that I'm willing to do that. One is I ordered one. They sent me a review unit. I could have just kept that, but instead I ordered one. So I put down my like $1,200 or whatever once I had configured it with all the options I wanted. So it's got modular ports, so you can have whatever IO you want on the sides. And number two was, I said I would be willing to invest in the company if they still needed investors. And Framework has reached out, and they are interested in taking me up on that offer. So the reason I need to talk to you guys about this, and obviously, Luke, I'd like you to weigh in as well, is that this creates a potential conflict of interest for me that I have never had to deal with before. I don't own, and I have not throughout my YouTube career owned any stock of any tech company, unless it was through like a mutual fund or something completely blind where I had no idea what I owned. So this would be new. One of the reasons that I said it in the video, and one of the reasons that I felt at that time that I would be comfortable investing in this company and owning a share in this company, is that everything that they stand for, and this is not just words, I can see it in the product. They even provide extra screws. All the internal screws are color coded, so you know which ones go where without having to measure which one's the 2.5 millimeter long and which one's the 3 millimeter long one. Not only are they color coded, they include extras in case you lose one while you're performing maintenance on your own machine. This is what I've been asking for all this time. What they stand for seems to be what I stand for to the letter, and I just wanted to find a way to support it. That's what made me comfortable offering something like that. But what this does is this has the potential to color my coverage, right, of other products. However, let me make an argument to you guys. Would I be saying, if I were a shareholder in Framework, or I don't even know what the company is called, Framework Computer Inc., that's what it says at the bottom of the site. If I were to own some shares in Framework Computer Inc., would that change my stance on any of this? When I got a new MacBook and I criticized it for having everything soldered to the board and for not providing repair documentation to technicians,
it would bring to question motivations for sure.
Sure.
And so if someone knew, I don't think it would genuinely change anything that you would say about anything. But if someone doesn't know you, that doesn't mean anything to them. And your viewership is going to constantly change. You're going to constantly be seen by new people. I believe legally you would have to disclose.
I would have to, absolutely.
Every time you talked about any form of laptop, right? I think.
I think I'd have to mention it. Yep. We could probably do a text to disclosure on screen to keep it from being too disruptive to the content, but I'd have to acknowledge it in some way. Yeah, I think so. Boy, is there ever a lot of
Is there other
comments
ways to
about
do it
this.
outside of investment? Like could you do there's been some posts in Flowplane that are talking
Yeah.
about like LTT branded something. Like you do like an LTT edition framework laptop.
I don't
Or
think
like
it's any different.
partnering with them in some way, or like cutting them a discount on advertisement or something like that.
If anything, I see. Okay, cutting them a discount on advertising, that would be one thing. I don't think doing like a partnered product would be really any different than investing in the company, though. If anything, it's kind of worse, because how do we review a laptop if we sell a laptop? Versus if I review a laptop as a shareholder in Framework, I could disclose that I am a Framework shareholder. And the reason that I invested is that I value these fundamental principles that Framework builds their products with. And my intention is to hold others to the same standard.
Another question that Jaden brought up,
hit me.
is if their business practices changed, would you?
I would have to divest.
Sell your stocks.
I would have to divest. Yeah. So that's one of those things where that obviously I'd have no way of putting that in a contract with Framework, because it's too vague. You can't put things like, if I disagree with your business principles, I will sell, or something like that. But that's the kind of thing that I make a verbal contract with you guys. And I basically say, look, if these guys do not, I lay out, okay, look, these are the principles: repairability, upgradability, and openness. If they deviate to a standard that we, the LTT community, are not satisfied with, I will divest regardless of what the value of those shares are. I think that's something that is absolutely necessary. Yeah.
People in Flowplane chat are saying, oh, that would just be the same as the fans. No, because as far as my knowledge goes, LTT doesn't make exactly a lot of dedicated videos reviewing fans.
And LTT stopped making dedicated videos about fans when we released the first one. Also, the LTT Edition fan was not an LMG product. We never sold it. Noctua sold it. So, oh wait, no, I think the first round we did. The heat sinks they sold. Either way, we stopped making videos about fans. And we fully disclosed the entire business arrangement there. We told you guys exactly how it worked. And we told you guys that the reason we're doing an LTT branded product is because we trust Noctua. And so the fact that we trusted Noctua after that shouldn't have been any kind of surprise for you guys. So I want you guys to make the decision for me, because this is the kind of thing that without the support of the LTT community, I cannot do. It's that simple. I definitely have a lot to lose. I think this comment from Snow Skeleton puts it pretty well. I believe in this company as well, and I support you supporting them. But if I stopped supporting them and you were still backing them, I would stop supporting you. So here I am hitching my cart to this horse, where if Framework screws it up, then I lose.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't, I don't know. I think the investment kind of comes off weird, because there's a lot of personal gain based around that. So it's like, oh, I want to support this company by making money off this company is kind of odd. And then there's also like you don't really know these guys, and it being a public figure, you being a public figure, and it being something that is in your space, it's going to come across as a like incredibly informed move.
Yeah.
And like, it might be, but I kind of doubt you're that close with these dudes.
Nope, I'm not.
These people.
All I've seen so far is the product.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a big step. Yeah, I get where your heart's at, and I support it. I'm just very concerned about optics, and I think there's a lot of problems with the optics. There's a bunch of, just to address some of the stuff, because like someone in Flowplane was like, "What? We've been saying so." One of their things was like, "Why don't you invest in it personally and then just have other people at LMG cover laptops?" That's not how like any of this works. He owns the company.
It can be.
You still have to disclose that the owner of the company. I'm pretty sure you still have to disclose that the owner of the company.
So it depends. If I have no writing credit on the piece whatsoever or editing credit, like if I actually properly recuse myself from the creation of laptop content entirely, then no, we wouldn't have to disclose anything.
Okay.
I'm allowed to have personal investments that are not disclosed when a writer voices their own opinion because they don't have any financial skin in the game. So that's how those disclosures need to work. Anthony has some comments. I think we should do it because this is the behavior we've been asking for, and the player is small enough that it's not a threat to the mainstream market yet. However, I don't know about investment/control. I saw one comment saying that a loan would be a no strings attached sort of deal. High risk, but could be an ROI for you in exchange for the cash infusion. Could give them generous terms. Maybe we could buy frameworks with modules as workstation notebooks for everyone in the office. They're modular, easy to repair, logistically simple with interchangeable parts, show a real world reason for why it makes sense. And he reminds me that YouTube chat is still members only. Yeah, that's fine because I'm going to post a final answer now here. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
I like the idea of like workstation laptops. I think that's really cool. Even showing like, oh, if there's a part that tends to fail, like having it on hand so that you don't have to ship out your workers' laptops all the time. So like that's a really cool benefit.
People are saying give them a loan. Yeah, the loan honestly has the same kind of conflict of interest as investing in it. It's not really any different. And even if by law you don't technically have to disclose that arrangement, it's still there's lawful and then there's ethical, right? So, lawful, maybe I don't have to disclose it, but ethically I have to disclose it. I have to disclose that relationship, whatever it happens to be, even if they're the ones that owe me something rather than me owing them something.
And being a public person and a reviewer and all those other kind of things, trust and ethics is extremely important.
Absolutely. So it looks like the community is far from unanimous, but with 1,600 votes in, this is split enough that it doesn't seem like it's the kind of thing that I could safely do. So I'll give you guys a little bit more time to vote. Please, guys, do make your voice heard because what you guys are doing is going to affect the decision. Yeah, Jaden's comment here is good. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I personally am confident it wouldn't color his coverage, but others won't, and that would undermine the whole thing. And that's a really good point. But then here's my argument, Jaden, to kind of to push back against that, is I don't want it to not color my coverage. That's not actually my intention here. It should color my coverage. I should be happy to disclose this at every possible opportunity so that I can say, hey, this is what it looks like when a company does something that I actually am on board with, that I actually think is pro-consumer and is okay.
If you want to fight that battle, I think that makes it significantly more okay.
It's also a big risk for Framework. Because if they f up, I can assure you, I promise you, and I'm saying this publicly before entering into any kind of arrangement with them, I promise it'll be a super public breakup.
Yeah.
It'll be messy.
And I mean, you have an extremely long track record of not, but if you screw up, it's also bad for them.
That's true.
Because you guys, this is more than just a financial investment, right?
Yeah.
Like this is a partnering of public image.